So first, we're going to welcome Coast. Amy Kudell is their executive director. This is going to be on page 244 of your budget book. Alrighty, Amy, I'll let you start us off. Could you just explain to us what you do and explain what some of your expenses are, your frustrations, and then why you're having anything you need to touch on with the new budget?
Okay, sure. Good morning, everyone. I am Amy Kudell. I took over as executive director in April of this year after longtime executive director Julie Agan retired. This is Seda Naeem. She is our finance director. So between the two of us, we will address your questions. Just a brief overview on Coast. Since 1968, we have provided the older adults of St. Tammany Parish with a wide variety of services designed to support our mission of maintaining and enhancing their quality of life, well-being, independence, and involvement in the community. We offer 23 services to support this, ranging from Star Transit, which we operate in conjunction with the parish. We provided 43,000 rides last year. We also offered congregate meals at 8 different activity centers located throughout the parish. We provided 51,000 meals last year. We offer home delivered meals. Approximately 106,000 meals were delivered last year. Exercise classes, 8,800 hours of exercise classes were provided last year. We also do a lot to support caregivers, providing in-home respite and personal care for loved ones who are unable to perform activities of daily living, such as moving in and out of beds, chairs, toileting, bathing, things like that. We offer material aid, undergarments, first aid kits, meal supplements, medical alert, nutrition, counseling, and education, mental health support through NAMI. These are a few of the many services we are very grateful to be able to provide. This year, Mary sent us questions asking about the expenditures. We are projecting an increase of 7.35%. We are assuming a 3% salary increase across the board. We assumed all vacancies were filled and a change in status from part-time to full-time, and then there was one promotion. Fringe increased because we assume every single employee takes part in the health insurance plan, and that is not the case. I think we have 30-something of our 80 employees. 39 employees take part in the health insurance plan. Many qualify for Medicare, so they don't choose to take part in our plan. So that will be an expense that is not realized, but just to be conservative, we assume that they all do take part. The line item called non-GOEA expenses. Those are expenses, the GOEA, Governor's Office of Elderly Affairs, those expenses are dedicated to certain services like congregate meals or home delivered meals. The non-GOEA would include things like our transportation department. We just cut a check for $65,000 for a vehicle match for 3 new vehicles for Star Transit. We need to replace some home-delivered meal vehicles. Those are, a few of those are on their last leg. They were purchased in 2016, 2017, and have a lot of miles on them. We've also budgeted furniture for new facilities. We did receive a donation from Oshner for furniture for the new facilities in Lacombe, so that is an expense we will not have to spend. And then we need to replace some computers, and there's a possibility of a new roof needed at our Ramos location, our administrative offices. The fund balance that I listed, the $738,000, we operate on a June 30th fiscal year end in accordance with GOEA. That $738 is what we were budgeted to have at fiscal year end. That is the general fund. We also have a $1 million emergency reserve fund, so $1.7 million in our fund balance. We don't have any big capital plans for this year. As you all know, we just completed our capital project in Lacombe, opened our new transportation hub, opened a new activity center in Lacombe. The only use of these reserve funds would be to meet operational demands throughout the year. We do receive approximately 38% of our funding is through the millage, so that deposit comes the end of January or in February. So the only purpose for these funds at this point is just to get us through. We're happy to answer any questions that you all may have.
No, it'll do it automatically.
Okay. I first want to say, you have one location in my district, the Pearl River location, absolutely essential to the folks in that area. The exercise classes as well. It's not just that they provide lunches for a lot of people, also the exercise classes, really critical for seniors in that area. So also, one of the questions I get sometimes is about transportation for medical appointments. Do you still offer that for seniors? And if you could just speak to that a little bit.
Yes, we do. Our transportation operates on a first-come, first-served basis, so we encourage people to call 1 week in advance. Reservations open up for the following week. We have struggled to fill some vacancies in transportation with drivers. We do not require all our drivers to have a CDL. They do need to at least have a chauffeur's license. But as far as the CDLs go, we can't compete with some of the other companies, the delivery companies that require CDLs in terms of pay. We have a lot of great folks who just love what they do and love our clients. So that helps a lot. But I'm hoping we can fill some more of these vacancies and hire some more drivers. And I don't feel like we've had a huge problem getting people to medical appointments. What we would like to see happen is more of these subscription routes where we can get folks to the centers that are unable to get themselves there. I think we've struggled to meet that.
So you do have a hard time getting people to fill some of the driver jobs?
We have, yes.
Okay. And you said, I'm sorry, you said you do not need a CDL?
You do not. You do not. We do have several. We do have a lot of drivers with CDLs, but you need at least a chauffeur's license. We have some smaller vehicles that don't require CDL.
And do you think if you might be able to fill some of those vacancies if there was some kind of program to help some of these people interested get a chauffeur's license that was actually, I guess, if we could, some kind of voucher, if it was tied to working for you guys, do you think that would help?
That's possible. That is entirely possible. In the past, we have assisted with their training. Coast has helped fund that. We haven't done that recently, I don't believe. So I think that would help as long as we can say, you need to stay for a year, 2 years,
okay,
whatever the case may be, to make sure that the funds are recovered that were invested into you.
Okay, thank you.
Councilwoman Tanner?
Real quick before we move on. Just so you know that the Parish Works often does vouchers for CDLs. So that's something that the organization yourself wouldn't have to do necessarily, but work with them and they can probably help you with it.
Does it also do it for, I know chauffeurs is probably like lower.
Yeah.
Okay. Does it do also for chauffeurs or just CDLs?
I think they would if they knew there was a need at Coast. Okay. They're pretty good at responding to the needs of the community and be able to do
Just
that.
to settle the issue, I have a chauffeur's license. They're not that hard to get. You just take one additional test. It doesn't require any of the training that a CDL has.
Do you have any idea how much it costs?
$110 last time I did.
And you have to
It's just renewed permanently.
Okay.
Ms. Councilwoman Tanner.
I know you said you had challenges with finding your drivers. What do you foresee in the future as other challenges? Having too many people, not enough vehicles, not providing meals? What do you think are some ongoing future challenges?
I think funding is going to be a challenge over the next few years. That will be our biggest challenge. As I said, we're about 38% funded through the millage. So, ideally that gets approved and we can carry on supporting our citizens. We do not currently have a waiting list for home delivered meals, for congregate meals. We are growing at the centers. I would like to see some growth in support in the rural areas. We have folks that can't get to the centers. They've been great about helping each other. The ones that can drive go around and pick each other up. But as I said, I think our biggest challenge right now is getting the subscription routes covered so that these people can go, every Tuesday, Thursday to the centers. But I think our biggest challenge will be funding. This last year we lost the ARP funding. $500,000 in ARP funding, GOEA, our Title III funding through the Older Americans Act. We just got notice that was $222,000. They are supplementing to try to help Council on Agings across the state bridge that gap. And continue funding home delivered meals, and either through attrition if folks don't need the meals anymore. We don't want to see people on a waiting list, especially for meals. So I definitely think our biggest struggle is going to be in the transportation department and meeting that need.
You're seeing the need for the monies to be there.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
you do an excellent job.
Thank
you
you.
so much for
Thank
all you
you.
do for the elderly.
Thank you.
And all the programs you have.
Thank you. We are grateful to be able to do this. It's a wonderful, wonderful community, wonderful service.
Councilwoman Casablanca?
Yes. I know in my rural areas and stuff that, do y'all need, is it any money based on y'all proving need, or, any way that your money, the money that you get other than the millage and stuff, is there any funding that you would have to prove the need for shut-ins and meals and things?
Not at this time. The formula from GOEA is based on the percentage of the population that is over 60, more so than but we will then take that funding and we'll say, we need more for home delivered meals, less for congregate meals.
Okay.
But we are looking into different grant opportunities, and we'll continue to do that over the next year, and that may be hugely helpful for that.
Because, like I said, in the Lee Road area, I know one of my home churches that they have a meal program, and I think they deliver, like on Thursdays, 100 and something meals to shut-ins. But what's neat about it is the Methodist Church does 1 day a week. This is the Little Baptist Church. St. Benedict's, they do one, and then they had Shepherd's Care. But I was just wondering, because those people aren't in your system, that if you needed, proof that you have a larger need, it just so happens they're being taken care of, by these ministries and stuff, that we could gather that information for you.
Okay.
And be able to, if there is some grants or something that we could do.
I will definitely be in touch.
Okay,
more
I'll get
on
with
that.
you
I would
on
love
that. And they've been doing this for years, and so proud of them. But I do know Coast does come, in those areas and stuff.
It's
So,
just a matter of reaching the right
yeah.
people.
And but just to keep your statistics and the fact that, like you said, right now you don't have a waiting list, but, if these other entities didn't help, would you, and
Right.
then prove that we need to get more funding for you?
That would be great. That
Okay.
would be great. And the churches have been amazing. We have
they are.
churches all throughout the parish that help.
Yes.
Mount Olive Church in Slidell is
Yeah.
now delivering meals to the center on Fridays so that the clients have food to get through the weekend. St. Benedict's delivers bread to several of our centers to help the clients.
Well, they
so-
use the bread. They do the bread for
Okay.
New Zion, and they, the meals. They actually have people that's what they do. They pick up their meals and they take it directly to the homes of those people. And but it's just, I just know that a lot of people are being serviced, but if that's something you could count on a grant or something, and we could add to it and say this many people, more people have the need
Okay.
for it. So.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Councilman Corbin?
Yeah, I've got a few quick questions. I really want to applaud what you guys do. I really do appreciate it for the people of our parish. I think you do it reasonably efficiently too, so it's much appreciated. I do have a couple questions. You said you had some openings out of 80 employees. How many open recs do you have right now?
5. I believe we may have 5 openings right now.
Okay,
I can verify that and get back with you.
That's close enough. I
4
just
to
wanted to
5.
get a rough range.
There are some for the support services, like homemakers and.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
She said there's some in our support services. We just filled homemakers who offer light housekeeping. So
Okay.
we did have a wait list for that, but we're clearing that out as we backfill these positions.
Okay, and you talked about, you said that some of your people have Medicare, so they don't use the medical. About how many, you have a percentage out of your 80 employees?
39 employees take part in the insurance plan, health
So
insurance
roughly
plan.
50%?
Right.
All right. But you're budgeting at 100%, right?
We do, as we, they may leave, and then we may fill their position with somebody else who would then want to take part in the insurance program. So just to be conservative, we assume everyone takes part, but that's not been the case.
Okay. And does that, assuming that, let's assume it stayed at 50%, would that add to your fund balance at year end, or would that be consumed during the year as part of your operational costs?
That would add to our fund balance unless there was something, like I mentioned, we need a new roof or, something catastrophic happen.
Okay, and the parish and the parish budget, the administration recommended a 2% raise increase. I saw you guys said you're putting in at 3%.
We did put in at 3.
Is there a reason have you compared your last several years versus the parish baseline?
We have
for
not.
example?
We have not. We have typically done 3% the last several years, I believe.
Yes, and the pay rate is very, compared to other agencies, it's low, so that's the reason we are keeping it 3% to keep the employees, so.
We have some employees that may make $12.50 an hour. I would love to see those bumped up more than 3%. It's just a matter of finding the funding for it.
Well, given your medical, it might be worthwhile to take a look at the baseline. The library recently completed a study, especially focused on their lower paid employees. The parish did a study last year that focused on their lower paid employees. They might, without having to go do a study yourself and pay that expense, you could use those points as points of departure. I'd go take a look at those and see if there was justification at the low end
Okay.
for the people in that area. I think that's all the questions I have. Thank you again for coming today and being the first out of the gate, and we really appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
Councilman Phillips?
One.
Yeah, they'll do it automatically.
I was just looking at your handout and,
They're up.
oh, okay, thank you, okay.
I'd also like to commend you all for doing such a great job. We hear nothing but good things in the community
Wonderful.
about the organization. I don't know if Leslie has this or Mary, and I'm not trying to look through it today, but can we get more detail on the budget or the detail
Sure.
of the breakdown? Could I get an email to Leslie or to Mary?
Absolutely.
Okay,
No
thank
problem.
you so much.
Anything from staff? Anything from administration? All right, thank y'all for coming.
Thank you.
Great job, thank you.
I do recommend you take a look at those two studies. I think it'll really give you some guidance at the low end.
I definitely will. I definitely will. Thank you.